Hello everybody, I am really glad that I'm able to do this because yesterday I thought I was going to have a fibro flare, but apparently it was just the barometer going down. We are having one of those bad rainy days. Fortunately no tornadic storms though, so that is good. But today it's been raining cats and dogs since yesterday. I didn't sleep a lot last night because rain and thunder and all that, and Kitty's coming to cuddle because they were afraid of the rain. Anyway, I'm going to show you a very easy way of making a cloisonne effect using simply some pearlescent and metallic clay and a little bit of metallic wax, or if you don't have that you can use perfect pearls or acrylic, metallic acrylic, and also obviously UV resin and a cutter. So I chose these two. I chose a pearl and the sunset. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them into small pieces. And also you need a texture that has very fine lines, and those lines have to be deep enough so you can do a satin slice. And I've chosen one of clay tools, this one. Remember that the clay tools, that's why I like them, and I'm in no way connected to them. I don't get any kind of affiliate link or anything. But clay tools has textures that are initially destined for PMC, precious metal clay. So they will have, hi Lane, thank you for making it. So basically they are for like gold and silver and stuff. So obviously they will be much finer than the regular polymer clay textures. That's why I like them so much. So I'm kind of putting these together, sort of trying to not get them in the same color, but as much as possible. It's not an absolute. Let's get this here. And then one more here, and let's say one here. And of course I had to put away my blade. So yeah, fortunately we didn't have any kind of tornadic stuff, but I can tell you it was pouring. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get it flattened a little bit, and then I'm going to simply start getting it through the machine. Until I'm going to get these a little bit kind of sort of skinna blended. So this should be good, and I'm going to choose this side because it's got more than one color. Now I'm going to grab my my texture, and I'm choosing one of the larger ones because I'm going to use the oval. So I am getting this in as much as possible. I didn't need all of it. But going in as much as possible with this. Of course, it's going to need several, and as you know, I do the satin slice a little bit different than other artists. Other artists will use bits and pieces, pushing them in. I prefer to use the whole piece of clay because I find it does a much better job. You can use a cosmetic sponge for this as well, but my whole purpose is to get the clay in those teeny tiny. And another thing, you don't have to use the UV resin. You can leave it as is. But if you want to get an effect, I'm going to grab only the bigger parts with this blade, and then I'm going to switch to the flexible blade because it is much easier to handle. So Elaine, you're gonna be out of the storms today too. I am really glad. I was reading the other day that we're gonna have a super El Nino, so that means a lot of heat. So I don't know about you, but with the cost of electricity these days, I'm not looking forward to the summer heating bills. Cooling bills, sorry, not heating. Okay, so I need some extra here. And especially when we are talking about metallic clay, it's much better to use the whole sheet because you preserve the mica sheen. I might not even have to go all the way there. No, I don't have to go all the way there. I don't even have to worry about this area. Alrighty, so now I'm going to place this here and then turn it around. I placed it here so I can see where it goes. And turn it around and then first tippy tap with your fingers. And press really, really hard, and then you can give it an extra boost with your roller. Now remember, you cannot do satin slice with an embossing folder, because what you have to do at this point is you cannot fold the embossing folder. What you have to do at this point is just simply fold, and all your thing is going to be there. Yay. Now and of course you can use other colors. You can use silver instead of gold, obviously. And then after it's done, you can place, I'll show you with, you can place a bezel around it and the backing. Don't forget that with the Chinese UV resin, you can always bake it. So, okay, so I'm going to try and keep this in the very middle. Maybe I need a small one, because this doesn't go all the way to the edges. There we go. Of course, I am going to refocus closer so you can see better what it looks like. And then I'm going to get, you can get any goldish, I prefer this Firebird from Art Alchemy. And you have to be very, very delicate on this one. Let me put my eyes on, so that you don't touch the clay underneath. Just very gently wipe it. The other thing that you can do, if you don't want to do resin, you can apply a very thin coat of liquid clay. I know this is not going to be a very long live, because as I said, it's a bad weather, and I'm glad that I was able to even come online with you. And as I said a long time ago when I first started the channel, that the more I age and the more my health issues are getting worse, the less I'll be able to come online. So every day when I can do stuff is a yay day for me. So let me first refocus so you can see what we are talking about here. Actually, let me just zoom. So this is how it looks like. Of course, you can use shinier stuff if you want. And now we are going to use the UV resin. And another thing you can do, you can obviously use a flower cane or other stuff on it, if you want to get all dainty and stuff. And very careful. That's the whole deal about the texture. You need something that's got very fine lines that are deep enough to do a satin slice, but in case you decide on using the UV resin, you don't want it to be too deep, because then it's going to be pretty hard to spread the UV resin. And yes, for people who are new, yes, you can apply first the UV resin only if it is the Chinese kind. The especially the American ones don't work, like the Lisa Pavelka and Ultradome. I am not sure about the GDO. I never tried GDO, and definitely the 2 parts resin does not work. Never bake 2 parts resin. Not just because of yellowing, but because of fumes. They are very toxic. Okay, let's get this. And of course, I think that I turned off my UV light. Somehow, just a second. Hey. Yeah. Sorry about that. I have an extension cord here near my chair, and sometimes as I move the chair back and forth, I unplug stuff, or I turn off the extension cord altogether. But yeah, yesterday I did all morning gardening stuff because I had a very bad luck. I grew up seedlings and everything, I planted them, but one day they got all eaten up by pill bugs. So yesterday morning my neighbor was like, tomatoes are 4 for $10 at Lowe's. So I rushed, I got me some tomatoes, and then I spent a lot of time sifting big flower pots of dirt to make sure that there are no pill bugs. And I planted and I did all kinds of things, and by the time it came around to have my members live, I just couldn't move. And I thought I was going to have a fibro flare, but then later I looked on the weather, and the barometer was down to 29.7. I was like, yeah. So today, for some reason, even if it is raining, it's not. It's at 30, so I'm good. I'm still hurting from the rain, obviously, but not that bad. Anyway, so this you can do with all kinds of other colors if you want. So there we go. This time I'm going to actually refocus so we can see it. There we go. So as you can see, you get a lot of stuff. Another thing that you can do, and I do recommend you try, is if you look back at my trying to readjust it. If you look in the gemstone for gemstones playlist, look for the mother of pearl tutorial, and you can use that, and it will look absolutely fabulous if you use this type of faux cloisonne over mother of pearl. But give me just a second. this before you bake or after you bake, and you can, after you bake it, you remove it and you put a backing on it. That's all nice and goldish. But let's say before you bake, yeah, the Firebird wax is absolutely fabulous. I normally, for gold, I don't use their gold. They have a lot of gold stuff, like rose gold and white gold and stuff, but I prefer the aged brass for gold. But I think that the Firebird is stronger. The aged brass is like this, and Firebird is more orangish, but it gives more strong gold vibes. I don't know how to call it otherwise. And obviously, after you put the bezel on, you can, after it's baked, you can put some wax on it as well. So I'm going to go, it's about this thick, and I'm going to give it a diagonal cut. There we go. I'm getting my eyes on again. And we're gonna go first, so we make sure that we have the diagonal cut. So I always start in on the top. This might be a little bit too thick. It is too thick. I don't want it this thick. Sorry about that. I am too much of a perfectionist, I guess. Of course, I need this one. I'm going to turn it the other way. And there we go. So we cut outwards, so we'll have a little bit of exposed stuff, and with the diagonal part up, you place it. See, it's a pretty big difference. And you want to make sure that it goes all the way to the bottom. And it is well against the your pendant. So here we go, again in a diagonal. And the little thing here will be easily covered by wax. And one more thing that you want to do before you go ahead and bake it is go around it one more time like this. But also grab either the end of a paintbrush or something and then go around at an angle. You got a 45 degrees angle. And bring all this against the cabochon. And there we go. If there's any, you look at it from the front, make sure that there's everything is nice and good. And as I said, after all is said and done, you can use some wax to and you have a beautiful old style jewelry that, and as I said, you can put a flower cane slice underneath. Let me get again closer. And once you put wax on the edges, let's turn one of these off. There. Once you put wax on the edge bezel, it's going to look even much nicer and brighter. Can you do other stuff with it? Obviously you can, but that's the general idea. As you can see, it's a very easy to make cloisonne style. And as long as you master the this is not perfectly perfect. As long as you master the whole satin slice technique, hold on, I know how to make it perfect. I let it do it. There we go. I just have to use the auto. The satin slice technique, you will be able to do all kinds of beautiful things. And it's very classy, very beautiful, and this is just an idea of some things you can do. And remember, I have all my my channel. If you go on my channel, let's go on my channel. Give me just a second and I'll get on display. If we go on my channel, if you go on playlists, you can find all kinds of playlists here, canes and all kinds of stuff, but also there is one for techniques, basic techniques, basic polymer clay techniques. And here you find the Skinner blend, shut up, simpler canes, sanding, buffing, how to condition, how to do all kinds of techniques, how to make various Skinner blends and other things. I'll have to add some more things to this, but this is it pretty much, and I hope you enjoy it. Oh yeah, you can make a lot of centerpieces, and you can make them, you can actually make them as big beads to make a big necklace like this, and they would look fabulous. So thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you try it yourself. Thank you, and have today's Mother's Day, right? Happy Mother's Day, and I hope you have a great week. Thank you for being here today, and thank you, Elaine. Bye.